What's going on, everybody? Look, in this video, I want to share with you my process for creating custom GPTs. So I've kind of gotten halfway there. When you see my screen, I'll show you. I've got a couple of different tabs open with some different processes that I've used. Rest of it, I'm using other custom GPTs to help me create another custom GPT tool that I can use to help me edit copy. So this would be things for like advertising, social media posts, blog posts, all of that stuff. So in this would come from various sources. So think about like any of your outside writers that are helping you out, your AI assistant writers that are helping you be more efficient. This is just a way to help us keep all of this language on brand and you know, sounding like us, sounding like the differentiated brand that we're looking to create. Okay, without any more, I'm going to minimize myself and I'll show you exactly kind of how I do this. So first things first, let me open up this chat tab over here. I have a few GPTs that I work with all the time that I've created. I also really like to give them personalities. I don't know, it just makes it feel a little bit more memorable. So that's what I do. You don't have to do that. You can keep them robots. I don't care. I like to personify my custom GPTs. That's just me. So I'm going to be using two of these today to help me do that. I have Dex here, who is my prompt engineer. And Dex is going to help me basically create the brains of the custom GPT. And then the other one that I have is Mariah, who I use as my head of HR. So think about like writing job descriptions and that sort of thing. When working, you know, when you're creating a custom GPT, I almost think about it as like you're creating an employee. It's serving a function, right? In this case, it's a content editor. And so I find it very appropriate to start with Mariah, the head of HR, to, you know, basically give me that job description. So I'm going to flip over here to this tab. This is basically what the conversation looks like. So again, like I've trained this on our brand. This is also trained on HR best practices in Michigan. So, you know, I don't know, like it's fairly accurate. It's pretty good, actually. So my prompt is, hey, Mariah, can you help me write a detailed job description for a content editor? Ask me any questions before you begin. I always, you know, want it to ask me some questions. So here's sort of the conversation. She asked me 11 really amazing questions, you know, about how we're going to customize this role, what, you know, exactly what the role entails, what are the expectations, all of that stuff. I answer all of her questions here. I also start including some of our brand language. So she was looking for, you know, our values, like what values do they need to uphold. So I pasted them in there. She says, perfect, gives me the job description. You can see our customer values right there, which is pretty awesome. The role, kind of like all of the details that you need for the job description. That was it. So that's Mariah's job in this whole thing. So what I do with this, I copy and paste it, and I go over to Dex, who is my prompt engineer. And, you know, honestly, like I spend more time working with Dex than I think any of the other GPTs that I have, just because I like, you know, playing around with and constructing different prompts. So here we go. Here's the conversation. I say, hi, Dex, can you help me design and develop a custom GPT that acts as my brand's copy editor? Here is the job description for the custom GPT. I paste the job description for Mariah in here. And then the other thing that I'm doing is, you can see it up here, I attach our brand positioning document for him to reference, because in there it has all of the tone of voice standards and that sort of thing that is going to make an editor successful. Even at the end here, I even put, I have attached Wit and Crafts brand positioning document that contains tone of voice standards. Boom. He says, great, this is going to be fun, you know, and he writes out some of the system prompts. You know, he's giving me some very good direction, but then at the end, he even asks, should we take it further? So, you know, if you've gone through the Brand Lab training, or even if you haven't, like, you know, at some point, you know, we develop tone of voice standards. In the tone of voice standards, we have things like words and phrases that we should stay away from, and then words and phrases that we should use. We kind of call them our like power words and phrases. And he's referencing those here so that we can, flag them in any of the content that comes back to us. Really important for the success of this role that we're looking to build. So it also, like, I found this was really brilliant from Dex. He suggested a content scorecard for assessing the drafts before feedback. So like you can give it the content, then it's going to assess it against your brand standards, your tone of voice standards, and then it'll score it based on your brand, which is really cool, and then give suggestions to make it better. So he asked me if I want to bake that stuff in there. I said, yep, let's definitely do that. Sounds great. Here are the trigger phrases that he's pulling directly from the brand standards document, power phrases, words and phrases that he's pulling from the brand standards document, and then the content scorecard that he's developed that he's going to include within the brain for the custom GPT. Asked me if I'm ready to implement, and I said yes. Give me something I can plug directly into a custom GPT for the internal logic. And I said, great, package it into a full GPT spec, and then here we go. So this is basically the output of what Dex gave me. So it's also giving me, so I found this really interesting too, and I think it's pretty cool. He's giving me instructions on, some of the settings here. So like code interpreter, we can keep that off. We don't need it. Browser tool, optional. I'll probably put that on. I always like including a browser tool. I don't know why. It's just something that I do. But anyway, it's giving me suggestions there. And then we can get into personality and that sort of thing. So like I said, I like to include personality traits for these things because I kind of like interacting with people. It, I don't know, makes the whole experience a little bit better. But anyway, this is all of the information that we're going to need to put into the brain along with the brand positioning document that we have. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to copy this, and then I'm going to go over to ChatGPT. Now, how I get here, my GPTs, I basically click on my little face up here and then go to my GPTs tab. And then it lands me on this page, and it gives me the option to create a GPT. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to click that button there. And we're going to get into the name and the description in a minute. I'm going to have Dex write me some of that stuff. But in the meantime, like what we need to do is educate the GPT, give it a brain. So the instructions are really like the brain. It tells it how to act and sort of the things to do, everything that Dex has built into the instructions for this thing. So I already have it copied to my clipboard. I'm going to quickly paste that in. And so there we go. I've got my custom GPT ready to go with the brain. I'm going to go in and give it a conversation starter here in a minute. I'm also going to name it here in a minute. The one really important thing that we need to do is make sure that we upload our brand guidelines, our positioning document. I have mine handy right here. I'm going to select it. And then this is going to be the knowledge base. So, we're educating the GPT on our brand, on our language, on our differentiators, on who our ICP is, all of the things that go into the brand position. We're going to keep that here. Okay, cool. In the other tab with Dex, I'm going to go on and pursue creating a personality for this thing. So I'm going to say, please help me name this GPT. Not a question mark. Okay. All right, we're going to give it a name. Oh, so it's getting cute here. That's really funny. Clear graphic copy and tone coach. I like using human. Like, can you provide a human name? The only reason I'm doing this because every single one of my other GPTs have like human names. And so here we go. Okay, Elena, Julian, editorial, archetype. Oh, wow. Look at this. Stylish, sophisticated, editorial. Dex's picks. Oh, he's even giving me a suggestion. Dex is so cool. I'm going to go with Reed Porter. I think Reed Porter is going to be our guy. I like him. I like that name. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to name it Reed Porter. And then I'm going to have Dex. I'm going to say I chose read Porter. Please provide me with a description for this GPT. Okay. Thank you. I like how it, I'm validated here. Okay, so you're seeing this in real time. Okay, overview. Read Porter is your in-house editorial. Okay, I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go back to here where it says add a short description. This might be too long, but we're going to... oh, boy. Okay. Everything's really starting to freak. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this. I'm going to say make the description. I'm going to go back to Dex. Dex, please make the description 300 characters long. Okay, here we go. 300 characters long. This should fit directly into here without any trouble, and it does. Perfect. And now I'm going to have Dex. I'm going to go back to my other tab, and I'm going to say, please provide me with 3 conversation starters. Oh, I'm having trouble. Apologize. I'm having trouble typing today, but luckily Dex is pretty smart. So I'm going to take these 3. Sorry, this is probably a little bit boring. I'm going to put them in the necessary areas here. We know because we're creating them that Reed is the one that is going to be editing our copy. But I always like to include some conversation starters just as a best practice. Okay, there we go. 3 conversation starters. We have Reed Porter. One more thing to do. We have to give Reed an avatar. So right here, but I'm going to go back to Dex and say, move me out of the way here. And I'm going to say, this is great. This is great. Please provide me with a photorealistic avatar of Reed. Make it 1:1 ratio. That's just square. If you're not, this is going to want me to add a dash. Fix this spelling mistake over here. Told you I'm having a hard time typing today for whatever reason. Okay, and so I'm going to click that, and then I'm going to give it a couple of minutes, and you're going to see it generate Reed. We're going to give him an avatar so that we can interact with him. This is really cool. Like I like this feature of ChatGPT. I don't know. I think it's really interesting that you can just have it give you these photorealistic avatars that you can use, and it works out pretty good. And honestly, it is fairly photorealistic as you're looking at here. So this looks like Reed. This is really good. I'm going to go ahead and download that. So it's going to go into my downloads folder. I know right where to find it. As it's downloading, I'm going to come back to our custom GPT builder, and I'm going to click upload. In my downloads, here he is. Open, and there we go. Reed Porter is your expert content editor, and he's ready to use. So what I'm going to do right now, just for demonstration purposes, I'm going to hit create. I always think of this first version as beta. So this is, and just so everybody knows, this is untested, right? But so this is beta, and this is kind of the basis. And what I'm going to do next is actually test Reed to make sure that he's doing everything that I need it to do. And I'll show you what that looks like too. So a couple of options here. It could be for only you, anybody with a link, or you can post it to the GPT store. I haven't posted anything to the GPT store yet, mainly because every custom GPT that I've created has been very brand centric to wit and craft. And so I just want it to be for me. However, I do like to share it with my team. So I just, anybody with a link can access it. I just kind of leave that. I'm going to hit save. And as soon as it gets done, there you go. Just that easy. We can view our GPT, and we've created a new copy editor for Wit and Craft. You can see the author's name. This is by me, which is great. That's on all of them that I've created. And then eventually it's populate in my GPTs. In fact, if I go back to that tab, it should be there. So here's one thing that I haven't quite have prepared yet. So I'll edit this, but I'm going to dig for a file that we can use to test him out. Okay, so I found a document here, and it is some LinkedIn posts that we have ready and scheduled or are scheduling. So I'm just going to copy and I'm going to paste one of those into Read, not as a separate document or anything. I'm just going to paste the text in, and I'm going to ask it to, let's see. I'm going to ask it to polish this content. Oop, computer's really bogging down here. Okay. Oh. Yeah, that's funny. Okay, so I got to fix that. It wasn't necessarily I needed to paste I'm going to edit this real quick. Oh, edit this message. Okay, and I'm going to paste the text into this chat. Okay, you guys are seeing this in real time, so apologize about that. All right, I'm going to paste that into there. This is the whole LinkedIn post from our master document, and I'm going to hit send. And so basically here's the edited version. So it says, here's an elevated version of your LinkedIn post with strategic edits for clarity, tone, and flow anchored in the Wit and Craft brand voice. Okay, so this is pretty cool. Let me know if you like variations, carousel. Oh, cool. AI won't fix your brand positioning. It'll amplify the confusion. I once told a client to ditch AI, not forever, but until. Okay, this is cool. So what I'm going to have it do next is I'm going to say, get rid of all this stuff here. So, just for the purposes of this demonstration, I'm going to say, please highlight your edits. That way I can see exactly like what he did. And then, oh, look at this. He's even giving me a here's why. So this is really cool. Here's your original draft with my edits bolded, rewritten sections in italics. Okay, and inline notes in brackets for clarity and tone. So this is really cool. And, this is something that we can use and then dial it in, further on down the road, especially as we're writing the first draft. Okay, that's not a part of it. I told my client to ditch AI. Here's why. Made this a subhead for rhythm and intrigue. Really good move. Okay. Most businesses have this backward. They think AI will solve their marketing challenges. That was the original but technology only amplifies what already exists. It can't create what's missing. It says streamline for punch and clarity. Okay, cool. That was a good edit. So far, this is working really well. I'm going to run this through a couple more tests to see if there's anything else that I would recommend or put into its knowledge base over time. I also like to run tests over, a few days or so, just to work with it and highlight any like holes or any things that any things that, jump out that I would edit out right away of its, from its knowledge base or the instructions. And then I can also work back and forth with Dext, who is my prompt engineer, to make it even better. So anyway, I know this is a bit of a longer video, a bit of a demonstration, but I hope this helps. I hope this helps you. And I just wanted to demonstrate like how powerful your brand position can be when working with your AI tools. And you can see that, from all of the inputs that is your brand positioning document, you're going to get all of these outputs. You're going to be able to create the really like world-class marketing people. I mean, this is just one person. This is just one function. It's an editor, but you can see the power there to keep all of our AI content, or all of our content, honestly, differentiated. And that's the main point. Like, we've got to avoid, everybody is using the same tools. Everybody has access to ChatGPT. Everybody has access to Claude, Gemini, whatever the tool of your choice is, and people are going to be using it. However, if we can keep editing our content to keep it uniquely ours, that's the goal. That's how we're going to separate ourselves from, everybody else, the sea of sameness, all of your competition, put ourselves out on an island and really like be able to articulate our differentiated brand. Hope this helps. Please, in the comments, ask me any questions that you have. Also, let me know if you like content like this. So this is a little bit new for me, doing this, these demonstrations, but I think it's going to be helpful. I'd love to hear from you. Let me know if you have any questions. And if you like this stuff, of course, subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be doing more, and of course, it'll alert you and all that stuff. So really great. Hope that you find this helpful, and we'll see you on the next one.